What's the story, you beautiful people? Welcome to episode 20 of Weekly Controversies. I'm yours truly, J.R. Brown, alongside my beautiful co-host, the golden one, Rob Gold, or Robin Gold. Robin Gold? Jesus Christ, Amy, I'm fucking this up already. Be a weekly controversy intro if it wasn't a fuck up on the intro. This is something that we have. So yeah, we've got Rob Gold, we've got Tony O'Connell, and we've also got Mark, who necessarily is a co-host, lads. You have to agree now. He's on every episode, every single week.
He's part of this family now. I'm more than happy to welcome him into this family. I'm sure Martin, if he had a link, he'd pop in and say, make it so. So, Mark, welcome to not only the Weekly Controversies, but to being in the FiveMarks gang, making you the only Mark in FiveMarks.
Who would have thought it? Listen, guys, I'm not going to make this contract signing any more odd than what we saw on SmackDown between Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes. I will sign the dotted line. I'm here to stay. The only Scottish Rangers fan, before Tony says anything, who is probably welcome on this podcast. Thanks for having me. Delight to be here. I love it as always.
We love you coming here. We do love it. And it's actually crazy to think we've gone 20 weeks into this now. It's mad because as I said previously before, that we love doing what we do just for the bants and the chat about wrestling and everybody's different opinions and stuff. But I would have never thought it'd gone this long, because you think about it, 20 episodes doesn't seem like a lot, but when you think about it being like a weekly thing, it's crazy to think how long it's gone. You know?
Yeah. Definitely.
Madness how fast it's gone by. It really is.
Yeah.
We've grown. We've not only grown in numbers, we've grown in confidence. We're still grown in our craft, and we'll get better. We're going to age like a fine wine.
The fucking intros, Tony. I just can't do the intros. It's too nerve-wracking.
That's what makes us unique. Every podcast has their own unique thing, and us fucking up the intro is our unique thing.
And the fact that we've not been cancelled yet.
And the fact we haven't been cancelled, and the fact that the fans are going to be watching this week thinking, Rob Gold actually exists, we can see him this week.
Yeah,
but he can't see you because he looks blind with those sunglasses on.
Yeah,
the official Rob Gold sunglasses. Get yours now on robgold.bigcartel.com.
Yeah. By the way, I want to say, Mark, that your background looks fresh. That's probably the freshest background I've seen you've done in the amount.
The poster work from WWE over the last couple of months has been solid. The book has been meh, but the poster work has been solid.
Well, one thing, I mean, is for sure, I'm a massive fan of the dub of the Fed. I'm probably the one who sticks up for it the most out of everyone here. But the poster is probably the best thing about the last 3-4 weeks of booking. So there is that. I'm sure we'll get into it. The poster's pretty fresh. It looks pretty good. I've no idea why it's not like, really talking about King or Queen of the Ring. It's just two people that we'll get to at some point today, trying to sell the big match between them. But yeah, the poster looks fresh. I'm all for it. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, we had a debate episode last week, and we debated booking. We debated what way it was going to go. We had some bold calls. So we must have heard us, took those calls and said, nah, fuck it, let's go this way. Yeah, and that leads us into tonight, and we're going to have a lot of...
Because he's the only one I think that would watch us and go, oh yeah, actually, yeah, I'm going to say that to Paul. So good man, Jordan, if you watch it.
I think we're gonna be going back over the debate we had last week and then some. So
yeah,
it's written in the stars at this point.
Literally, I think there is a good bit to talk about, because not only are we talking about King of the Ring in this episode, everyone, but we're also going to be talking everything got to do with wrestling. And there is something that I will touch on at the end as well, that has really bothered me. In the last couple of days, I've just seen it, and it's like there's no need for it, especially in social media and shit. But that's something I'll get on to anyway. But lads, King of the Ring is tomorrow, but we have SmackDown to happen tonight.
Is SmackDown in Jeddah tonight?
Yeah,
it's in Jeddah. Yeah, it's in the arena.
So is this the fourth time that SmackDown is going to be live in Jeddah? Okay. Because it'll probably be on. It's probably going to be on now as the episode drops. If the time adds up right.
So if you are watching SmackDown while watching us, you are one true fan, and I love you for that. Thank you so much.
And you can
Because
put that finger up high and you can say, "We the ones."
now you're the twos. Get fucked.
You could be the five
That'd be
mark
that'd
for the
be
five
that'd
mark.
be a certain German side on that should be a certain German side by the time this podcast drops.
The
Yeah,
five
but-
marks and the real mark.
Yeah, that's the
Hey,
real Mark. It's really his channel. This is a Mandela effect for everybody. This is really his channel. It's not Martin's. So he's the one that's been running the asylum the whole time as to what he's been saying the last couple of weeks. You know, he's been running all of us.
Well, yeah, we can get to one of the points that I made first of all in the debate episode of last week. I was not sold. If we're going to kick off with King of the Ring, let's kick off with last week's SmackDown. I wasn't sold that Cody and Logan was going to be title for title, and I said at the time they put themselves into a corner. They're kind of teasing it, but they're not actually. They're not pulled the trigger and said, "Okay, this is title versus title." Lads, first question: what the fuck did they do with that contract signing? It was almost like, oopsies, we didn't mean to say title for title. How can we wash this away? And suddenly they gave us something and took it straight away. And what a shit show. I don't know, that didn't seem particularly well run. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
it was a shit show. I mean, we knew they were in a corner. They knew they were in a corner, and I mean, they could have just had something happen to not have the title on the line on and have Logan Paul get disqualified or whatever the case is. Or I could have had 2 out of 3 falls match. Who knows? You know, but the fact of the matter is, they used a litigator. That's right, folks. They didn't call him a solicitor or a lawyer. They decided, nah, feck it. Let's just call him. Let's go into the dictionary and get the posh word we can find. Litigator. My litigator has his own contract.
Can I just say that lawyer put my fucking thing? What's his fucking name? Daredevil. Anyway, Daredevil and fucking
Matt
Saul
Murdoch.
Goodman to shame.
Yeah.
Honest to God, whoever had them as the actor to play the lawyer is so abysmally bad. Because we've seen it before. Fuck's sake, we've seen Tommaso Ciampa be a lawyer. We're here back in the early 2000s. And I thought that was bad. Who the fuck is this fella? He looked like Stan Kroenke. Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
It's like,
and he-
don't tease up me. They're gonna pull that shit the following week.
Literally.
Pretty
It's so
poor.
bad.
Rob, what were your thoughts?
Honestly, I didn't get to see much of the contract, but from what I was seeing, I'm glad I missed it, if I'm honest. But to be honest, like I was with you on this one because I thought to myself, they never actually said it was going to be title for title, and I was adamant that they never said that, but they were pointing towards it, and I'm just glad that it's not title for title. Yes, it's champion versus champion, but it's also, as I say, Logan Paul going for the undisputed championship.
Yeah, with every cloud as well. Sorry, Tony, with every cloud, because we have said for a while that even just the booking of this main event, it's Cody versus Logan Paul. It's pure name value of both, and to sell at that pay-per-view, to sell in Saudi Arabia. That's the reason why we have this. It didn't need to be title versus title. If it was, it would have probably been a bit more exciting rather than the inevitable finish that we're going to likely get with Cody going over. But with every cloud in SmackDown as well, we also saw the first interaction between Logan Paul and the man that we want to take the US title from him.
With everybody
With
saying,
everybody saying LA Knight.
No,
Yeah. So there is that as well, that we did manage to get something, somewhat of a teaser for where it could go. So it's like, okay, you fucked up a little bit with the Cody and Logan build, but that first little interaction has me pretty excited about where that will go. Doesn't quite make up for the fact that was a pretty shoddy segment.
yeah, I mean, I was excited for it when they announced the first and he came out and he was doing his whole ego, I'm better than you, I'm a megastar, or a social media megastar, whatever they're calling them. Because I'm gonna get hate for this. Logan Paul can wrestle. The man can wrestle. Like
Anyone
he can
who
wrestle.
disagrees doesn't know
Like
wrestling.
I get it. You don't like him because he sells coconut water and he's making more money than you, and he's probably a mass screensaver. Who knows? But he can wrestle, and you can't take that away from him. And him, Cody, and Saudi Cody is WWE's biggest name at the moment. Logan Paul is huge in Saudi Arabia. So it was a no-brainer having the two of them join up to do a match. But then teasing a double title match, then deciding, you know what? They'll take them away in the contracts, and that's all well and good. They fix the mess. Then they put their foot back in it again. Because what did Cody do to end the segment? He didn't just hold his title up high, he held the US title up high and then threw it at Logan. Like, why still tease it if it's not happening?
Could be a tease for
Now,
further down the line.
that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Now, I've been an old school fan now. Traditionally, if you beat the champion, you get a shot. So, inevitably, when Cody beats Logan, does that lead us to SummerSlam? Does that lead us to Money in the Bank? Are we still going to get this match? Is that going to be
There's no
SmackDown's feud of the
logistics to it,
summer?
though, Tony. There's
There's
no
not.
logistics
There
to
isn't.
it.
You're right. Even Nick Allison's in the ring thinking, the fuck's he doing in gorilla position? Like,
There's no logistics to
it
it.
doesn't make sense.
It's like,
There's people there for Logan. There's people there for Cody. I mean, do you really need to have two champions in one match and have others miss out and have two or three other people miss out in a match?
Can they have built somebody to take on Cody though in that short space of time in Saudi?
Well,
That's maybe the issue. I don't
that's
disagree
not
with
my
the
issue.
booking, but
I have no problem with Logan Paul doing it in Saudi because it makes the most sense.
yeah.
But coming out of Saudi, you've what, 2 months, 3 months, 2 months to SummerSlam? It's early August this year. So you have 2 months to build up someone against Cody, which is probably going to be the winner of King of the Ring if they have Gunther jump ship, which I can't see happening if Gunther wins. The way it looks like it's going. Now, it could easily be the other way around. Look, it looks like the final is going to be Orton and Gunther, which is a big face against a big heel. So, I mean, usually, traditionally speaking, the King of the Ring winner gets a shot at SummerSlam, which is how Brock Lesnar won his first WWE title against The Rock. He won King of the Ring, got a shot at SummerSlam, he won. So, the feud with the summer with Cody, or even with Drew or Priest, we won't know until after Clash, could be a Gunther or a Randy Orton.
Do you know what? And it's hard to even say it being a big Cody fan, but you'd have to admit it. It's like the Cody needs the bloodline more than the bloodline would need Cody, and that's how it got so over during WrestleMania's build, and then especially at, like, you know, after he won it and stuff, and telling that incredible story. And you are right, Tony. You are looking at it going, who are they building? You know, I mean, to feud with Cody. Because, you know, you look at what they're doing with the King of the Ring and then with the Bloodline with RKO and everything like that. It is like, well, they're just showing all these different wrestlers with Cody, and it's like, right, Cody gets a big win. There isn't really anything for me to get invested in for, you know, Cody to get this triumphant win, which, like, you know what? If you would have stuck with AJ, I would have been like, right, okay, I'm looking forward to this rematch. But they haven't gone back to the AJ route. I haven't seen AJ since Backlash. Even the LA Knight thing seems like it's faded away, which I kind of find very strange. You know, it's like, I don't know where AJ has gone. I don't know if he has any family commitments that he's done, which is
No,
like,
he was on SmackDown. There was a backstage segment of him on SmackDown, basically saying, you know, he's coming back next week with I don't know, is it some news or something like that he had to say, something. He was alluding to basically tuning in next week to find out my next
I only
steps.
watched the highlights, so I didn't even see that interview, to be honest with you.
It should have been a highlight.
AJ.
Yeah.
But I want to throw in something because you've mentioned Cody there and some of the interactions and potentially building, you know, people to feud with him. And I think it links to one of my controversial points of the week, potentially, and that is that I do not think that Cody is working on SmackDown. And I think that Raw is a worse show without Cody, and I don't think Cody's bringing enough to SmackDown. The idea of him being on SmackDown was for fresh interactions and fresh feuds, but you haven't had a chance to build anybody properly up to make that exciting. So that's the issue. I don't think the Bloodline needs Cody. I don't think Cody needs the Bloodline.
We can all unilaterally
In a
agree
way, though,
that the
Martin,
Bloodline and
it
Cody
kind
need
of
to stay
does.
clear of each other.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go right through the Bloodline in, you know, a point I'll make soon. But genuinely, Raw is a 3-hour show, and last week's Raw or this week's Raw was actually not a great watch. A lot of filler, and you just think the crowd needs Cody, needs that main pop, and there's something not quite right. I feel like they could have just maybe switched the titles for a bit, kept it going for a bit. Something's not right.
So I agree, which means that to me your opinion's not controversial, but I know you have others that might be, because on SmackDown at the moment it's I'm gonna say SmackDown's the A show at the moment. And not because Cody is there, but because the bloodline has somehow managed to stay relevant and do shit to make everyone just hate them even more week in, week out. Now, you see it now, Paul Heyman is a hostage. And you see him play that character so well every week now. That you've that big faction there that you don't need Cody there at the moment. So maybe Cody should have been kept on Raw. Now I know they're plagued with 11 or 12 injuries at the moment, and I know that's why there's probably not a lot of talent floating about for Cody to mess with, dance with. But you could save Cody's title reign and give it its first real threat, using the King of the Ring. And that threat isn't the Viper. That threat isn't even an apex predator. That threat is a legend killer. That threat is the master of the punt kick. That threat is a man that has a legacy with Cody, and if built right, could be a really good match and really put a threat against Cody. That is a heel Randy Orton. Now I know they're building Orton and they're building Owens up, but you could have Owens home with him. You could have Owens home with him. They could feud the Owens with KO to try and take out. You give Cody, bring someone in to help Cody if needed be, because we've seen him do it before. Fuck you seeing it. I just think Orton's the choice here, because there's no one else that you can put against Cody that makes sense at the moment. And like I said, they have a legacy.
I think Tony. Sorry, Mark, were you going to say something?
No, I just I totally agree. It's one big build for that.
The only threat that Cody could really logistically have.
Yeah, no, true, but I think that's really more of a WrestleMania match. That's something that I see really more of. Like, they're not going to put it this early because Randy isn't a year back. You know, he's only been back a couple of months, and he is getting really over with the crowd again, and everyone's getting invested with this new tag team with Kevin Owens and stuff. So I think they're going to keep the baby face, you know, run with KO, and he won't go with Cody until Royal Rumble time. What's it?
What if they built towards the heel turn? What if they didn't just do it out of the blue? What if it was built towards?
I mean, they could do that like with what they did with Edge, I think, you know, if they did something along those lines with, you know, Randy turning heel building up to WrestleMania, they could do along that. But if you really wanted, you know, Randy to be with Cody for the title at SummerSlam, then Randy should win the
They could go into so much.
But they won't go with Randy Orton. They'll go with Gunther. But this is what I was going to say about Raw as well.
Oh, I agree. I think Gunther is KMA for the King of the Ring, being he needs something since. I do agree. They could still slow build Orton, because Orton is playing the friendly face. He's Cody's biggest supporter. You could build on the heel turn, and then you could have. WWE don't do time limits in their matches, but they could potentially squeeze that in, and no one could think anything of it. And have that fourth match be a 30-minute brawl that ends in a draw. And have them both saying, "Well, I had you, I had you."
That'd be such a clusterfuck though if they did that, Tony. You know that.
That would wouldn't be the most
clusterfuck thing ever. It would be like when Seth Rollins faced the Fiend at Hell in a Cell, where it was red lights.
But that was a clusterfuck because it was a DQ and a Hell in a Cell. If it's done right, it won't be a clusterfuck. Like if you have Orton hit his RKO with like, we don't know, but with say 5 seconds to go to the match, and referee goes 1, 2, and the bell goes thinking he's hit 3.
Whatever the case, it doesn't really
matter.
But
Iron Man matches have the sudden net rule, so it wouldn't work in an Iron Man match.
It doesn't matter what kind of match. Ultimately, Randy is the only feud outside the bloodline which would get people interested in Cody at the moment, in terms of like the SmackDown rivalry, what they could do as a sort of build. Randy's the only guy on that show, and that's
I hate to say it, and I know it's going to piss off a lot of fans of Cody and a lot of fans of the other brand's champion, Damian Priest, but for the first time in 5 years, maybe 4, the title pictures on both sides have been stale as fuck.
Hmm. Yeah, like I mean, both reigns haven't really captivated, like to make you want to watch the show because they're on the show. So you go to watch Raw, you go like, oh, Damian Priest world champion. Okay, he's not really doing much with it. Same with Cody Rhodes, not really doing much with it. Obviously, yes, they had the great match with AJ Styles Backlash. But apart from that, so far, I mean, what else? You've got Logan Paul coming up, but again, nothing else really to sort of, basically to grab your attention, to pull you in. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and I like what Mark was saying about and what you were agreeing to with regards to that.
Do you know what? I was gonna say, like, it's not even got to do with the champions' fault. It's not Damien's and it's not Cody's. It's whatever way they're booking themselves. And I know it's gonna be controversial, but I think Damien's one is more interesting for the simple fact it's building to Clash of the Castle with Drew, and Drew is most likely going to take the belt off him because he is a transitional champion. He's someone that's not going to hold it for a while and have a great run. He's literally keeping it fresh and spit and shine for when Drew wins it in Scotland, which I know will make Mark so happy. But it is true though, like, so beneficial for Raw. It's going to be great in the next couple of months for Drew, and then with the feud with CM Punk that could potentially happen going into SummerSlam. And with Cody, it is that they have in a way put him in a wrong brand, because you look at the stars there and go, what could they do with anyone in that brand that could face Cody? But they're not doing that. They're just fucking anyone who has some sort of value that can face Cody and then have a good match. There's no strings to attach. There's no emotion to it. And
They're
with
keeping
someone
him
like
busy.
Cody Rhodes, you know he's gonna try his best with anything he gets put in front of him. But at the moment, that's all he can do. And I feel like a lot of people are blaming him for it, even though it's not his fault.
They're just keeping him busy right now because ultimately we know where this goes for Cody in the future. This big kind of WrestleMania belt, which he will once again get, but he probably will drop the title before then, which will be quite nice to have some title changes. But I want to just bring the conversation to Monday Night Raw because I've had my go at SmackDown already.
Can I talk about it with you?
What's that?
Can I talk about Raw for you? Because the way you say Raw has no star power, I think is very, not like, you're not wrong, but I looked at what happened on Raw on Monday, and I'm like, this is a future sort of brand. This feels more of, there's new stars that building for the future. And if you look at SmackDown, a lot of guys on that sort of brand, and everyone's getting their eyes on, except for probably Jade. But everyone who's watched AEW knows who Jade is. But for the casual viewer, they're only getting to know them now. But with the guys who got promoted from NXT to Raw, like the Braun Breakers, who, like, you don't count Braun Breaker at SmackDown because he didn't really do much, so he's still new in the main roster. And you've Ilya Dragunov and all these different guys. These are guys, especially Gunther as well, who's going to probably win King of the Ring, that these are going to build as stars. And this is going to be what SmackDown was in the early 2000s, where you see these guys having these unbelievable matches and are overshadowing the opposite brand, where they're the ones that has the big names and they're the ones that have these, viewers and stuff. That they're going to be like the little, like, fish in the big ponds, with Raw, because I looked at what Braun did and what they're teasing with Ricochet and then Ilya Dragunov and Gunther, and it gets me really excited. Now, you might think now it's no star power, there's nothing to gravitate you to watch it every week and get you excited. But for me, I'm really excited for the next 12 months on Raw because it gets me excited for what they could do.
Which is fantastic because that's all about potential, Jamie. But Monday Night Raw was filler and boring as anything. It was not a good show. It's the first show that for a while, that they had genuinely nothing to get your attention if you were watching now. I appreciate the excitement about how these characters could potentially go and what they're building to. But they had a show where Drew had a backstage segment. No real mention of Punk. Punk wasn't on the show. Damian Priest, your champion, was in backstage segments and kind of came out with the tag team match. Did nothing. They had a match between Chad Gable, which was kind of going on about more his kind of change, whatever. There was no Sheamus. You know, it had nothing. And for me, how many shows can you run where, and you probably know what I'm going to say. I know you love her, but Becky Lynch, how many times do I need to watch her cut a promo to be interrupted by Liv Morgan? Like, it's the same show the last 3 weeks, except this week we didn't get Drew, and it was not a good show. Possibly with what they're building towards, yes, but it just feels like a lull to me.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Raw,
Tony.
see, Raw is a victim of the draft. They drafted a plethora of talent that are on the injured list.
Yeah.
So it's basically like you're playing Universe mode and you've got a roster of 50, but you can only play with 5 of them. And we're getting the same stuff week in, week out. Now, they are trying to push new talent, which is getting shit on because everyone is, well, I'm not, I'm happy that Lyra is in the finals of Queen of the Ring because it was one of my calls.
Yeah, I am as well. I didn't expect that.
But everyone is giving out about it, saying it should have been EO. And I'm here like, y'all wanted new talent. Y'all wanted people to get a push. Paul is out here pushing people, and you're saying, nah. We don't want Becky 2.0. By the way, the next person that calls right at Becky 2.0 can slap off me. He's wanted new talent. He's given his new talent. And now that you say, I get new talent, he's not wanting new talent.
But to Mark's point, though, when it comes to Raw and how it's not CM Punk and Drew, and then sick of Becky Lynch. Look, I get it with the Becky Lynch thing. You know, for someone
It's just the same
who
story.
is
I'm not
very
sick of
laid
Becky
back.
Lynch, but you know what I mean.
Becky's fault either.
No, but
No, it's
we
a
know
Liv
from
Morgan
Becky
thing.
Lynch's promos, she's very laid back with them. You know, they're not gonna give her freedom to do stuff with what she can really say. You know, with Liv, you can see Liv is the most interesting person out of the two of them going into this match on Saturday. But like you look at it and say, like, they have to shift the focus on different storylines as well on Raw. You know, it can literally be everything Drew and CM Punk because even though it has been amazing the last couple of months, the Chad Gable thing is very interesting. You know, he had a talk with the Creed brothers, which gets me really excited from someone who's a fan of his and his tag team background to have them, you know, pair with Chad Gable can make me excited for the Creed brothers too, because someone like them two who have big potential can get a big massive push in a division that really needs new dynamics, if that makes sense. You know, it needs something different. In my opinion, the one thing I hate about Raw is the R-Truth and the Miz being tag champions. Other than that, I do not mind
You
Raw.
were fucking pulling for the back of Mania, you snake.
No, it's not. I wasn't backing anything got to do with R-Truth. No fucking hope in hell. Like, he's funny for once or twice, and you know, but that's it.
This is literally Mark's point exactly.
Yeah, but he's very much down everyone's throats, and it's obvious to see. And I'm
like your hero, Cody Rhodes.
Here's another one for you. So they had the
everyone loved the chase, but when the chase was over, it was meh. Same with R-Truth. Everyone loved the chase, but when it was over, it was meh.
I never loved it. That's why a lot of people make a mistake on. I never cared for R-Truth's run with the Judgment Day. Yeah, funny bits here and there that chuckled at, but I didn't have anything towards it. I didn't want him to win on WrestleMania. I couldn't give a fuck. He's a fucking pensioner nearly. And he's a champion.
Yeah, it's awkward. It's kind of funny, but I know what you mean. It was just a poor show, a lot of filler, and what I mean is it's 3 hours of filler. It's 3 hours of that sort of stuff, and there was no on Raw for me. There was no big moment that you had to tune into. And a random throwaway comment. The Intercontinental title is on the line on Sunday. It's Sami Zayn against Chad Gable and Bronson Reed. Can someone tell me where the hell Bronson Reed was on Raw? Because I don't think.
No, he wasn't talking to Sami Zayn. He's saying like his character really is about putting on the best match and making a lot of money while doing it. You know, and I can get that because Bronson Reed is a really good athlete for his size. Like, he can do a lot of good things, and I see why he was the one to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And then
why wasn't he involved on Raw?
He had a little talk with Sami.
That's kind of it. That's silly. I don't know. Just something was wrong. Ultimately, then you had the main event, and we will transition shortly, I imagine, onto King of the Ring. But I am disappointed. I know Gunter's going to win. I want Gunter to win King of the Ring. Fine with it. But having Jey Uso lose, and this is going to be, you know my thoughts on Jey Uso. I say every week, right? But I think we're kind of, as fans of the show, we are unfortunate that Jey Uso will probably not appear on SmackDown or on King Queen of the Ring, because I would love to see the Saudis eating. That's all I'm gonna say. And we're not gonna be blessed with that opportunity to see the Saudis do the
Dragunov
yeet
look 10
chant.
times weaker.
Yeah. It does. It's weird though, but I just wanted to also throw that in because I would have loved to see everyone in the crowd in Saudi, particularly doing the yeet chant. I think that would have been really funny. Missed opportunity. But either way, right man won. Other than that, Raw, yeah, it
Can
was
I
it
can
was
I
a filler
touch on
show.
Jey Uso? He has not won a big match in like 6 matches that he's had. He's 0-6 in big matches. For someone who is being really over with the crowd and calling himself main event, he's not really making himself look good with these big losses. You know, even though he bet Dragunov, it's like fucking hell, he's losing these big matches, and it's like I get like I know I was talking about Jey Uso beating Dragunov isn't a big deal, but for Jey Uso to keep losing these matches and not get a win and not even some sort of mid card title push is very concerning because I'm thinking now, no, do you know what? I actually just want to see him now with this whole bloodline storyline. You know, that's the only thing about Jey Uso that's going to make him any sort of what you call it, what like interesting. Like he is interesting because of the crowd and stuff, but other than that, when that bell rings, he never really gets that big win, you know, and that's very
It's just a
concerning with the
case
character.
of it's a case of they tried to split a tag team up to see if they'd work solo, and it hasn't. It hasn't worked. It's just they're a great tag team. They're not great singles wrestlers. It doesn't. It works for some tag teams. It doesn't work for every tag team. And unfortunately, the users are a tag team. They work better together than separate.
I
Yeah,
think it's
no,
worked
true.
in terms of merch and it's worked in terms of crowd and that sort of stuff. But as you've said there, Jamie, and I feel like it's one of my catchphrases on this podcast, then the bell rings. And that's when all interest in Gio, so I'm afraid as a singles competitor is lost.
Yeah.
Now that was my thoughts on Raw. I just think we're on a bit of a lull. I think SmackDown was the same. I think Raw is suffering by not having as many big names. I think Cody not being in the show is reducing the quality of the star power. I'd love to see the breakdown of the 3 hours and when people came and went, when Punk's not advertised, when Drew's not actually live on the show. But then, even then, I love Drew. You know that. Do I really want to watch him cut a promo in the middle of the ring again about CM Punk? No, because I've seen it the last 3, 4 weeks. So it's almost like because we know that's coming at Clash, they've still got to build up Clash. It's a big gap between Clash and when they started that kind of build. We do have this pay-per-view in the middle. They need to keep hot, but they also need to build to the future one. Just feels a bit slow. That was my point. Yeah.
That's fair enough. Well, yeah, it's do you know what? And even when you think about what's going to happen now tonight on SmackDown, which is still going on at the moment, you know Randy Orton's going to win, but I want to talk about the women's match with Nia and Bianca, and people feel like Nia should go over, which I don't think she should. I think it should be Bianca. I think it should be Bianca. This is the perfect way to build up a heel turn, in my opinion, anyway. You know, make her queen, make her really dominant in that sort of run that she might have, especially if she goes into a feud with Jed, you know, because with Nia winning, is it going to benefit her? It's not going to
Yes.
benefit Nia if she wins.
It benefits Nia because she is being booked or being perceived as like, I don't want to use the final boss thing, but Nia is this like unbeatable, force, the undeniable for whatever they call
We've
her.
seen this back in February, Mark. I'm sorry to interrupt. We've seen this back in February with Nia. She's irresistible. She can't be defeated. Ripley, bro.
Yeah,
Rhea
that's the
Ripley made
issue.
her look unbelievable.
That is the issue.
And
So
I said, as soon as somebody beats Nia, she'd go stale. What happened? Rhea squashed Nia. Nia went stale.
which is why Nia needs to win Queen of the Ring, because it's the one thing that could actually build her back up to being dominant
Is
again.
Jade Cargill still in that main tournament though?
No,
Yeah,
Jade Cargill
Jade
Cargill was disqualified, as you called. Could have been for the Bianca and Jade match, but actually she was disqualified in what was again a bit of a shit show of a match slash
That's
not
coming
booking
to
decision.
catchphrase in this podcast.
But the way that went down was a bit shit. again. I'm not going to touch on SmackDown. I feel like I'm moaning a lot this week.
It's because
someone...
I think it's because the men's brackets work better than the women's brackets. And when they realised that with women's brackets, it was too late and they had to do a quick fix job. And it now looks like a preschool kid's art project.
We also have the issue that supposedly, and it was kind of leaked, that we had a poster similar to the one in my background of two women dressed in the Saudi gear for the final of the Queen of the Ring. And those two women were Lyra Valkyria and Tiffany Stratton, who now is obviously not going to be on at that show due to a social media altercation, punishment sort of thing that it's for something she did. I think this
Tiffany's
is
getting
Nia's
punished.
opportunity as a
I've
result.
seen that.
I
What
think
happened?
I think the punishment is that she lost the spot in the final. I think she was supposed
But
to
what
go on
happened?
to win.
What did she do?
Right, so do you know what happened, Mark? No? Because I know what happened.
Tell us, Jamie.
Right, so basically, I read into this Tiffany Stratton thing, as you know, I'm a big Tiffany Stratton stan.
No, I
And I
like Tiffany
heard about
too.
the
What
rumor
about
that
Tiffany
she
time?
got kicked out of the tournament and stuff, which she didn't. She just didn't win. But I seen that it was a video she posted when it was, I think she was hitting Jay Cargill, but it was like she called her in a black term and then bitch. I'm not going to say anything because, like, I mean, you know, we don't want to get actually cancelled, guys. But it was got to do with a racial term anyway. But they kind of got the wrong context of it with some of the people anyway. It wasn't that she was calling her that because of her skin color. She was just calling her a bitch because she's a heel and she's trying to heat up, you know, a possible, you know, feud during the feud
How
between her and Jade.
how
But
do you get
in
bitch
the
is a
match,
racist
you know
term
what
though?
I'm saying? It was it?
How is bitch a racist term? Sorry
No,
for my
she
ignorance. I
called
just
her.
don't see how it's a racist term.
It was some got to do. It's some got to do with a racial term, and she said bitch, but she didn't say it in a way where it was directed towards her. She just played her character, and a lot of people found it very offensive. And I think she had to came out on Instagram and stuff and say like it wasn't got to do with anything. I think Jay didn't even say really much on the matter either. I don't think she even said anything. You know, it
I
wasn't.
mean,
It wasn't anything got to do with it. It was just usual people, snowflakes in the world who feel like that is something bad that she did, even though it wasn't. It was just something that happened in the match, and then that was it. It was directed towards Jade during the match because she's playing her character, and people are getting all offensive about it. So if it's true that that's the reason why she's not in the finals, I completely fucking hate it because you could have had her being Queen of the Ring, and we had this big fucking run for her, but now it's shot on because of fans, you know, getting the wrong side of the stick.
Or maybe it's a godsend because we don't know if Tiffany would have won the match if they would have went with Lyra or Tiffany. So it could be a godsend in a way that Tiffany could now go on and make money in the bank and make Tiffy in the bank and make her own briefcase and still go on and run.
But with this now, it could actually shit her push. It's
I hope it
really
doesn't.
mad to think that she was gonna be literally rocking up her arse and she's gonna go straight to the mill. You know, a reference to Cameron
I hope it doesn't. I hope Paul Levesque
now it could be
really
real.
sees clearly and doesn't make the mistake of derailing that momentum.
No, I don't. I think it's a small punishment, but I don't think she'll be buried by any means.
And I think
For this now.
as well, you've Lyra as the face finalist. So unless they're going to turn Bianca the night she wins, then Nia is probably going to end up winning that match and have the final match with Lyra, which Nia can easily get to Saudi and wrestle because she wears the gear that they wear there anyway.
I want Nia to win the whole thing. I think she needs it. I think she needs it, and I'm more than happy to see it. Who you
Taylor,
got
Phoenix,
for?
Queen Simone.
Who have we got for Randy and Tama then?
I'll go Randy, and then Gunther to win the King of the Ring, the whole lot of it, and then him get a massive push for the world title.
I think a lot of people were thinking Tama because Jay was still in it, and as we seen Jay tapped out. So I think again they're going to have a face against a heel finalist, and I can't see it being Tama. I think Randy. I think the Bloodline get DQ'd and Randy takes the final spot. I know last week I said it was going to be not Randy, but a week later, here we are, and I see a different picture being painted. I do think Orton and Gunther is going to be the men's final.
Rob?
Yeah, from what it looks like, let's say,
Rob, you're upside down.
yeah,
Rob,
notice that.
yeah, the whole camera's gone. I think I don't know what's going on.
Say again, Rob. Go for it.
Oh, yeah. Go on.
Cheers, Rob.
Yeah.
Come,
No,
Molly.
yeah, with the whole
You're still the same, Rob.
with the whole King
How
of the
did
Ring.
Stephen Hawking live his life like this?
Oh,
I love being in this island.
Martin.
Oh, Cornet.
Uh,
But
Let me note down the time. Martin. Yeah.
That was the best of the year. That was only like 3 days into the fucking year. That was amazing, Trent.
Rob, give us your thoughts on Randy versus Tama, please.
my thoughts on Randy Orton versus Thomas. Obviously,
He's fresh from the upside down. It's Robert Goff.
it's a left golden one hit the minute.
I'm a bully. Oh, I'm gonna get cancelled.
No, I think Martin is gonna edit this and stuff. He's gonna like put him back in the right place. But this is just hilarious.
If he does, and I'm like this, he's gonna have me like this. But yeah, so my thoughts on Randy Orton. I mean, that's probably what way people feel after the arcade.
Don't do it yourself, Rob. I'm sorry.
But no, I think, as I say, with Randy Orton and Tama Tonga, I think obviously I think Randy Orton will go through to the finals for sure. There's definitely no doubt about that, because it just makes logical sense for, as I say, like for Gunther and Orton in the final, one way or the other. Tama Tonga, I think, is actually he's done very, very well with being in the bloodline as well, which I think is really good for him and that. But I do think Orton will be the one that gets through and faces the Ring General in the final.
Yeah. I agree, but I just wanted to bring my what I think was probably my final pre-planned. I don't think this is a controversial point either. This is just one of the points I wanted to bring to you guys. And unsurprisingly, it does involve Tama Tonga. I wanted to discuss the new bloodline and how well they had been doing up until SmackDown, where, in my opinion, they almost completely derailed all momentum that they had in being a serious faction that can cause chaos and that can, basically this unbeatable, undefeatable faction, serious faction, derailed as soon as Tama Tonga started whatever the fuck that was, sounding like a Neanderthal as the camera panned to him. What? Do it again, Jamie. Someone do that. I could not do an impression of that. What were they thinking of having him do that? That was such a laughing stock. And we're supposed to take Tama Tonga seriously. Like, no, for me, that one little moment almost derailed the full future bloodline story, because suddenly I can't look at Tama Tonga the same way. I never want
Yeah.
to see that ever again.
Yeah.
Guys, what did you think of the bloodline?
I agree that I seen the clip the other day and I was like, what the fuck are they doing?
It's so good.
Just keep the gorillas silent and let Solo do the talking. And before someone jumps on and tries to call me racist, look up that tag team name. They were the Gorillas of Destiny. Go fuck yourself.
Yep, God.
Know your stuff, Marks.
Yes, we are,
Yeah,
Mark.
you too, Mark.
And me.
That's all it is.
Yeah, I had to bring it up. I mean, even Drew.
No, it's a good point to bring up. Hopefully they do not do it again.
Yeah, Drew on Twitter, who's been brilliant, as you know on Twitter already. He said, I thought I told you not to feed Tama Tonga after a certain time or something. There was a joke on it. I just think that for everything they'd built up, they're trying so hard to make Solo seem less serious kind of character, and Paul Heyman is carrying that storyline at the moment with his facial expressions, with the way he's maneuvering himself around the other people, and in genuinely one noise, Tama Tonga almost fucked the whole thing up for me. It was a joke. I never want to see it again. I don't know how Orton goes over, but he should. Hopefully Kevin Owens helps him out or something. Keep Tama strong, because Tama looks really weak after that nonsense.
Ah,
But yeah,
Tasmania,
though.
Tasmania.
I thought somebody would stick up for the bloodline, actually, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. I thought somebody might stick up for them, but there you
I,
go.
No,
I
I am.
do. I will stick
I'm
up for the
going
blind
to.
where needs be, but there was no need for him to deal with his Tasmania devil impression.
No, I am picking up the bloodline though, because I, even though it is very funny, I'm not taking it seriously, and the reason being is because they are still going to be booked really serious. Yes, this Tamatonga character is like an unhinged character, but I mean, we literally talked about Solo not speaking a fucking word of English for like nearly 365 days in the year until Roman left, and now he's actually starting to speak in his promo. There's some ways people are going to get new characters and new wrestlers into the product, and if this is a way they're doing it with Tamatonga for the long run, this is what they're doing, and I have no problem with it. I was at the same team when we talked about Raw. They're looking at it for the long run. Everybody's just going to get used to the character of Tamatonga until he is actually going to be himself, and he's going to be with his brother Tonga Loa, and they're going to be a dominant tag team. You know, whenever that is, I'm excited to see. But I get your, it is actually quite stupid that he's doing something like that. But I mean, I'm not taking it as serious as, oh, it nearly ruined the bloodline for me, because I think they are still one of the best things at the moment. But that little thing, it hasn't bothered me that much.
Just hope it's not going to be as big a laughing stock and in the future we don't see it again. And I hope that Tangaloa does not speak. And I certainly hope when they debut Jacob Fatu, it is the same. He
Yeah.
also doesn't speak.
No, but do you know what I've noticed though, actually on TikTok? A lot of people are saying like Tonga Loa as a wrestler is so bad. And I remember watching him in New Japan with his brother Tommy, and it's like he wasn't that bad when he was in the tag team. But it just goes to show,
Sorry about that, lads.
when you're on your own and you're a tag team wrestler, you can't cut it. You could say the same with Jay. You know, some people think he can't cut it on his own, even though he has a brilliant gimmick and he's over as main event Jay Uso. He just can't cut it when it comes to, as you said before, when the bell rings. It's a different story when the bell rings, and I've seen that. I've noticed the videos and clips and stuff of Tonga Loa on his own, and I really hope he doesn't have a match for a while. Not like he hasn't had a match yet, but I wouldn't put him in the deep end yet. I'll build him up as well, and then eventually I'd have God. But Tonga Loa on his own, do not put him on his own. I'm sorry, don't.
Tamatonga and Tongaloa are proven solo wrestlers because they were split up and they both went on runs in New Japan that were really good as solo wrestlers, so they could do it. It just depends.
No.
It just
Have you
depends.
seen the TikTok clips though? I've seen some TikTok clips of Tonga Loa, and it's hilariously bad. Like it made me cringe watching it. And I'm like, I know he's a really good tag team wrestler. We've seen it with God with Tommy, but I've seen his stuff like his match against Okada on TikTok, and I'm like, I don't want to see him wrestle on his own. Fuck that.
But yeah, but that's being fucked into the deep end. That's like me training for 2 weeks and me and Tommy fought match against Okada. Not for me.
Yeah, but he's
It's not
been
going to
wrestling
end well.
for how many years, Tonga Loa? So
Yeah, but you have to remember he's been wrestling as a tag team wrestler for all them years. Maybe he's sharing the ring, maybe he's not in the ring consistently.
that's what I said to the lads.
Well, King of the Ring itself is a typical king and queen of the ring, as I was rightly corrected last week.
I apologize to all the women viewers. I'm sorry, but
it should be queen and king. It should be queen first, in my opinion.
Yeah, that you could be right. And the maddest thing is, this is the most talented bracket of women's wrestlers I've seen since the Queen in the Ring has been a thing. They just haven't had the right winner, and I'm hoping that the right winner is Lyra Valkyria, which I'm hoping.
Sorry, Irish boys, it's got to be Nia. But yeah, it's a typical Triple H pay-per-view. This 5 matches. Do you guys want to dive into it? Tony, you got something else to come on?
What, do you want to do predictions now, lads? Do you want to do predictions?
Let's dive into it, and then when we get to the women's part, I will say what I was going to say. So let's dive into it and give our predictions, because that's what people came here for as well this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the match card, like I say, we've got 5. I can run through them if you want. We know what the main event's going to be. You can check it out behind me for some reason. It's that. Let's very quickly cover the first one because we know that it's going to be Gunter in the final of the King of the Ring versus one of Randy Orton Tama Tonga. Does anyone think it matters who Gunter goes against? Do we all agree the Ring General becomes the
Yeah.
King General?
Absolutely.
The Ring General becomes the king.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, Tony, you can say your thing because the second match I have here is Lyra Valkyria versus the winner of the SmackDown bracket, which we'll find out right
So-
now, I suppose.
Regardless of the outcome of this match, because she's been booked so well, Lyra does not lose momentum coming out of this match. It just doesn't happen because she's got the shock win against Io. She's pushed herself to the final. They put her up there. Like I said, she's only in Saudi to come to the aid of Becky because they're turning Liv heel. It's slowly but surely happening. So I assume Liv's going to have Sonya is back. So I mean, they need to face Sonya with someone as well. So I'm sure Liv's going to have something up her sleeve to Becky over that she.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a Bianca win against Nia, and I think Bianca wins the whole tournament. I would love it if Lyra won. It'd be so good for her to get 2 big wins against 2 former women's champions. It would be amazing for the start of her main roster career. It would be great, but I just don't see it happening now. But then again, there is no shame to losing to arguably the face of the women's division in Bianca Belair, no matter what anyone wants to think. She's the poster girl for that division, and she should be the one to win it for potentially, as I've been bragging on about for weeks, which I say a lot of viewers are getting sick of, a potential heel turn that could be really beneficial for her going into next year's WrestleMania. So I'm going for Bianca to win the tournament.
Rob.
Very, very bold call. Honestly, I would prefer if Nia wins this because I don't want, because it's almost too predictable. If you say like, oh, Bianca will win this and then goes to the final and then wins Queen of the Ring, like I would love for Lyra to win it, but I don't think, no matter who she would face, I don't think she was going to be the winner. Which is unfortunate because I think she's had a hell of a run so far since moving from NXT up into the main roster straight up. But I do believe, as I say, I think Nia Jax will be the one that not only beats Bianca, but also needs the Queen of the Ring.
I don't need to answer this question because Rob, I couldn't have said that any better myself. I agree with you. I've got nothing more to add. Rob, that was pretty much exactly as I would have said it.
And Jamie, you gave the answer I was going to give. Potential heel turn, meaning Bianca at this current juncture is a face, meaning Paul is very big on heel versus faces, which means it won't be Bianca. Bianca is going to lose due to some shenanigans. It is going to be Nia Jax versus Lyra in the finals. And I'm going to say here, I'm going to say it now, all hail the Queen Simone. Nia Jax wins Queen of the Ring.
Oof.
So
Okay.
3-1 for Nia, is it? Everyone thinking that Nia's going to beat Bianca tonight.
Listen, I'd love for Lyra to win it, but Lyra doesn't need the win. She's going to have momentum regardless. Like Mark said, Nia Jax has been stale since February, and if they want to make her a prominent threat again, they need to give her something to make her a prominent threat.
Need to do something.
No, absolutely, yeah. But I get that part, but I mean, I just think that Nia isn't that interesting. She just really isn't, and I think Bianca is, and even with a heel turn, it'd be even so much better. Like, because I just can't back, like Nia being this heel, and then it's just she lost to Rhea. If she would have won against Rhea, I would have totally agreed. And let's say,
But that's not her fault.
No,
she was booked to lose against Rhea.
Yeah,
I mean, that was no fault. You can't just say, "Oh, I don't think she's interested because she got squashed by the Australian board." I don't think Bianca's interested in the slightest. I think she's a hack.
But
I think Nia Jax is more interesting than Bianca. I don't see why everyone's fascination is with Bianca. She's only relevant again because of Jade Cargill.
No, but
she's only a tag team champion because of Jade Cargill.
if Aaron was here, he'd agree with me. He mentioned on an episode.
Aaron would agree with me because he usually agrees with me on this.
Really good what she does. She's a really
Aaron
good
doesn't like
wrestler.
Bianca Belair, so I totally think he would.
What's the obsession with Aaron?
Aaron
You've got
has
me.
admitted before. No, but listen,
I come on every week to try and get myself over with you guys, and all you do is talk about Aaron. That's fine.
I'm only just talking about an episode when he mentioned about Bianca, which he made a good point about her. She is really good. She is one of the faces of the division, and we haven't seen her turn heel yet. You know, she was a heel in NXT, and it did well. She was an NXT champion, and it did well. But ever since she got debuted during pandemic, and went on this babyface run, a lot of like young girls love her and blah blah blah. But then we haven't seen a side of her yet where she could do so much more, with this EST character. And then if she turned heel and became the queen in the ring, why not go on a monster run with the championship or a big program for one of the big pay-per-views next year? Why not?
I think
What's Nia gonna do?
Hold on a second. Where's the Jamie a couple of months ago that was like, can't stand to a gimmick? What's the EST bollocks about anyway? Where's that Jamie gone?
No, hang on, wait, whoa. Me? Says the one who actually made an actual remark, which we won't mention because we won't say
anyway.
Because I don't like Bianca. Because I'm honest, I say I don't like someone and I stick to me guns.
Lads, I wish I was the host.
Because I say I don't like someone and I stick to me guns. You keep turning him around and you keep changing who you like and hate each week.
I want a fact check for this. When have I ever said bad things about Bianca Belair? I have never. I've been raving for fucking even since WrestleMania for her to turn heel.
You've been saying for months that you couldn't stand the EST gimmick.
Right, calm
You didn't understand the whole EST thing.
Jesus, do we need to get a special guest referee in for this?
Please do.
All I will
say. I want a fact check on this, man.
I totally agree with Jamie. I think actually we probably all do. That Bianca does need a heel turn. I think she does need a refresh of the character. She is really good, but she's slightly stale. That's probably the summary that we're trying to get to here. She needs to do something slightly different. I don't think she needs Queen of the Ring to do that. That's the thing. I think she will turn heel on Jade. I think that might even be the SummerSlam match that you mentioned, Jamie. We might get that. But I think that heel turn will probably start to develop now whilst they're the champs rather than anything to do with the Queen of the Ring just yet. I think, agreeing with Rob and Tony on the result of that. But we've got 3 more matches to get through. A wonderful fight over this next one. If we're talking about uninteresting women, then we've got Becky Lynch defending. Kidding on. All right. Becky goes up against Liv Morgan for the women's world title. Who you got and why? Rob, kick us off this time.
I can't see Becky losing it so soon after winning it. Do you know what I mean? Because it just, I mean, why not have Liv win it in that battle royal that they had for the title? To me, it just doesn't make sense to give it to Liv Morgan and just in one match after against Becky. Should just give it to her there. Whereas with Becky, I mean, as I say, I think she will retain it. I can't see her losing it. I don't know who she's going to lose it to eventually. But this whole Liv Morgan tour thing, I mean, who knows? But I mean, my money's on Becky Lynch to retain it.
This is the perfect opportunity to put the belt on Liv. You cannot do what she's done ever since injuring Rhea Ripley and not put the belt on her. I get the point when she lost in the Battle Royal and Becky was the champion. I just think Becky did really need that because there wouldn't have been anything else for her. In these next couple of months, she could have easily gone on the break, but she decided not to because of Rhea's injury. But as I have said to people before, it has benefited her, but it will also benefit Liv Morgan because she's on this revenge tour. She will definitely go on a great run with the championship until Rhea comes back, and then that program then starts happening. But I would not mind to see Liv win against Becky and then have a rematch then at Clash. I would not mind that. But then I say after Clash, I would end it there and then, because that's when hopefully Rhea can come back, and then that could start that rivalry with Liv for the world title. And she can hopefully take back the belt she's never lost. But for the context of it now, with the way everything's gone, I don't see Liv losing. So I'm going for Liv being the new women's champion.
I'm going to bring Tony in a second. The point was made by, I think, both of you there on the Battle Royal being the one that, you know, it would be, why didn't Liv just win the Battle Royal? Don't you think it makes a bit more of a oomph and a bit more of a moment if you win the title via pinfall over someone like Becky Lynch than winning it in a Battle Royal? Is it not a wee
Yeah,
bit more
absolutely.
special?
Yeah.
That for me is
Right.
why the transition of having Becky as champ I'm okay with,
Yeah.
because she is a solid hand. Give her the title the
Mhm.
way that you used to give Sheamus the title, you know, as a sort of transition. So I'm okay with that. But Tony, who you got?
So straight in, Rob, you're saying they're going for Becky because Becky won't lose her title so soon after winning it. Mark, I am sorry. I need to use this as an example. I know you're gonna piss off. You're gonna get snappy.
I'm already walking
But
away. I
can
know where
somebody
this is
please
going.
tell me the exact time Drew McIntyre held his world title for WrestleMania?
Longer than I spend in bed.
About 5 minutes, 40 seconds. Now, the whole gimmick with Liv is it's a revenge tour. She wants to take everything that Rhea holds dear. That means Liv, for part one of that, needs that Women's World Championship. So I do love Becky. I don't think this loss is going to hurt Becky. I'm going to go with Liv. I think Liv needs that big win. Or this push is going to go stale. And then we've also seen the teasers of Liv having pieces of Dominic Mysterio's clothing on her person. So we know that the next
What a
step
lucky
after the
wanker.
title.
What a lucky dickhead. The stash on that cunt, and he gets to slap the cheeks of Rhea and Liv Morgan. What a wanker.
You know why?
Sorry,
You know why he gets to do that?
dirty Dommy bollocks.
Because he's mastered his father's craft. He lies, he cheats, he
Don't
steals.
see his fucking dad bod belly. I know I have a dad bod belly, but I'm not a WWE wrestler.
But yeah, for this revenge tour gimmick to work, she has to beat Becky, or it's for fucking not. So Liv Morgan is my choice. Mark, sorry for using Drew, but
That's all
just
right. I'm
to fuck
back
Rob's
now.
point back
Yeah,
in his
me and
face.
Tony agree on something.
I think you're right. I think you're right, and I no worries with that. We, you know, we don't need to talk about Drew this week because he wasn't really featured much, and we know where it's going. But on that match, yeah, I think it's very hard to disagree with what you said. Liv has got to win. I think Becky will do the right thing. Liv will go over. It will be very interesting to see where that goes with Rhea, because that's the match we all really want to see now, Liv and Rhea, and we want to see the Judgment Day collapse with Priest losing the title, with the tag team titles being something they can't get. Maybe they can. Maybe eventually the tag titles do return to the Judgment Day, but Dom going away, or with Liv or something going on there, Priest losing the title, just begin that destruction, and it all starts with Liv Morgan going over Becky Lynch. So that long-term story, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Match number 4, it's the Intercontinental Triple Threat match. So as I said earlier, Sami Zayn versus Bronson Reed versus Chad Gable, who will have Otis potentially in his corner. What are we thinking about this match? Who wants to kick us off?
Can I kick off?
Yeah, go on.
No, go on, Rob. I'll let Rob kick off. Go on.
To be honest, I'm actually really looking forward to seeing this match, because I'm actually really excited more for Bronson Reed, because I think, like as you said before, how good of an athlete he actually is, and again, it's like people say about like some Nia Jax being stale and things like that, and then you look at like some Bronson Reed where he's a proper athlete and that as well, and he's big and he's muscly and he's to me he's really good, even without saying much on the mic. He's just really good, and if I'm honest, I can see him win it. I really can see him win it, because I
Hold
think
the front door.
yeah, I'm gonna go
Bold.
controversial and
Not
say
only is his
Bronson Reed.
screen fucked, but his thought process is fucked this week. He's gone from
You
being the
don't-
golden one to the bolden one.
you, you don't call it controversial for
The
no
golden
reason. So
ball.
golden ball, indeed, exactly. But
Golden
Bronson,
balls.
Oh, yeah. got them all. But no, because I mean, you look at Sami Zayn and like you go like, yeah, he's been an okay champion, but you give it to someone like Bronson Reed and you go, he could do something, he could carry it a bit, and with him being, as I say, relatively new as well to the brand, in a sense, the fact, two, general fans as such, him carrying it, I'd say would propel him up higher on the card, and also with fans as well. Then they'll start knowing the name of Big Bronson Reed.
Yeah, what an unforgettable name that is. Right, go on.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tony?
So I don't think Sammy's going to lose his belt. But if he was to lose it in that match, if it wasn't to Chad Gable, then that booking needs to be stopped right there and then. Because Chad deserves his flowers and he deserves to win with that belt whenever that time comes. But we all know that Sammy is God tier in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah. So I think with that reason alone, they ain't taking the belt off Sammy in what I believe is his second match in a
Second
Saudi
match.
show.
Second match.
And we've seen how big he was for his fourth match. I just don't see it happening. I think he's retaining. I think they hold off on a Chad win or a Bronson win until they're in front of a different audience. I do think Sammy's retaining.
Jamie, you agree?
Yeah, I see Sammy retaining. I know they gave us a little snippet of always interrupting the, Chad Gable and Sami Zayn match and got, Chad Gable to win. But you can see that with what Sammy said to him on Monday about, listen, I've been in your shoes before. If I were you, I'd get rid of him as quick as I could. I can see how it's really costing Chad Gable the match, because it is then going to build on possibly the new faction with the Creed brothers, and then Otis going on his way, and so is Tozawa and Maxime Dupree. Sorry, I had to do some anti-urban there. But yeah, I just think Sammy winning makes sense. I think for the long term, Chad Gable will get that IC championship. It's just not going to be yet. And as what Tony said, it's in Saudi Arabia. They won't have Sammy lose, there since him being, really, really backed over there. So I'll go with Sammy.
Go on, Tony, we're going to jump in.
I was going to say, I for one can't wait for this Creed Brothers Chad Gable link up, which hopefully includes Ivy Nile.
I can't wait for either.
Which hopefully includes Ivy Nile, because I just can't see the Creeds not having Ivy in their corner. But that also means that our hearts are going to break from Maxine Dupree again, because our only friend, our best friend, would have to turn on her in order to join up with Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sold on this as well. I think Sammy will retain, but I had thought Chad, it might be the opportunity to pull the trigger. But you're right. I think there's a bit of storytelling to be done here. I think clearly we're going to get the Creed brothers and Chad, and I don't think we get that. I think those two are the ones who will help Chad overcome Otis, which will be the feud following this match. Sammy will retain. Chad and Otis will feud off the back of it, leading to Chad becoming a leader with the Creed brothers instead, as they'll probably get involved in that Chad Otis feud as well down the line. But just before we move on to the main event, what are your thoughts on the new / throwback chant that we had on Monday Night Raw? I don't know if anyone clocked on to the chants on Raw for Chad as his entrance music played out following his victory. Did anyone else catch on to the fans shouting,
"Oh
"You
yeah,
suck"?
you suck"? Yeah, seen it. Yeah,
I bet you that's going to be pretty hot in Glasgow. I'm going to tell that guy he sucks.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
it's interesting that you brought up people chanting "You suck" to people with music, because would it not be cool if a certain Olympic gold medalist was Alpha Academy's manager?
I don't really want to see Gable Stevenson back, to be honest.
He only got released, so I mean, Not him. No, the other Olympic gold medalist. I think if I'm going to give the Creeds and Ivy and pair them with Shad, rather than Shad be the voice, why not bring Kurt Angle in as the voice?
Oh,
He
it's
can't
true.
wrestle. He can't wrestle, but he can still put one hell of a promo.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true. Yeah, that would be pretty. That would be pretty cool. To be fair, I think the links between Angle and Gable have been there for years, right? All the way back to the Jason Jordan reveal to being Kurt's illegitimate son, and we were all disappointed in how that turned out. But yeah, if there was a way to bring him in,
It
the
should have
only thing
been
is,
little bastard.
but
Yeah.
who's gonna boo Kurt Angle? That's the thing. Who's gonna boo Kurt Angle? Anyway, let's close out with the main event, which might not be the longest of predictions. I think we probably could have been deeper in a discussion had we got the title versus title match that we thought we were gonna get based on last week's show. But no, this will again just be for the undisputed WWE title. It is, of course, the challenger Logan Paul against the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Does anyone realistically see Logan Paul winning this match? Please speak
No.
up now.
And no, because
You know
it's
something?
now just for Cody's belt. It is going to be a banger regardless. And I just had a vision. I know I was preaching for Randy Orton to be Cody's opponent on at the SummerSlam. However, isn't the president or the king, or whatever you want to call the person in control of Saudi Arabia, has he not fucked an extortionate amount of money at WWE to bring The Rock, the king and queen of the ring? So how fitting would it be for Cody to be celebrating only for the final boss's music to hit and have his face off and start his story with Cody into SummerSlam?
That'd be sick.
It would really be. That would be
It's
good.
not.
This is
not
the
gonna
Rock
After-
fucking ring. Get the
After
fuck
all-
out of it.
We've all agreed in tonight's episode that Cody's title reign has hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Twat.
Go on, Rob.
Oh,
And to be quite honest, I want to be very controversial. I think that Logan Paul is going to actually not win this match, no, Joe. No,
Thank you, Rob. I actually
was,
would have found it from this.
I was
fucking
gonna say,
Weekly
yeah.
Controversies co-host.
This guy's been demoted to guest.
yeah, I was going to
Literally,
say, we have to put you back in the
actually
guessy.
fucking done something like I would have went to Belfast and like actually gave me a smack of reality going, what the fuck you picking Logan for? Come on.
Hold on, one second.
Ah,
started.
yes, you did it.
We
I just
here
have
at
to go
Weekly
back to
Controversies
Belfast.
are not held liable or responsible for anything that Robert Gold may think, say, or do during this broadcast.
No, like obviously, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where it's going to be a good match. We know Cody's going to go over. It's literally as simple as that. And if The Rock shows up, The Rock shows up. It would be nice. But I think there's other ones that are going to show up. Don't know when it's going to be. Whether it'll be at the end, whether it'll be during the show. There's going to be something happening.
Jamie closes out with this this prediction and tell us why Logan Paul is going to lose again.
I mean, it's just Cody's not going to lose the title now, even though it's stale to some of the people. But he's not going to, and I mean, it won't really damage anything with Logan if he does lose, if he does get pinned. It's just a match that's happening in Saudi. It's going to be a one-off. It's going to be great, though. I think it's going to be a great match. It's like an AJ, not really much built to it, but it's going to be a great match. It's going to entertain a lot of people, you know, who are there and who are watching at home. But I mean, I'm looking forward to the match, but I mean, I don't really care because I know Cody's going to win. So yeah, that's the only thing I can say on that matter.
Yeah, for me, it is. It's a Cody goes over no matter what, but it's not a Cena wins lol or a Roman wins lol kind of scenario where, you know,
No, it's a Cody win. Whoa!
This has clearly been put there as a showcase match, just as AJ Styles was, giving Cody enough to keep him busy for a while. There's not enough in the feud for me to believe that Logan goes over, the same way there wasn't enough in the feud for me to believe AJ Styles goes over, which makes this feud slightly, or this title reign slightly different to the, I want Reigns to drop the title already, it makes sense, or I want Cena to drop the title because it makes sense. Cody has to hold the title in order for the potential future feuds with Orton, with Rock, whoever, to feel legit. Even Gunter, right? Because the winner of the King of the Ring will likely face the. I imagine the champ. Well, to be fair, Gunter being on Raw might be Priest, might be Drew, but I can't see Cody losing either. It'll be a good match to watch, but it's not the most exciting outcome. That's for sure. Which does it for the 5 matches of King of the Ring and
Yeah, that's
Queen
really
of the
with
Ring,
just
of
the King
course.
Ring talk, I think, because that's just a great way to end that talk of, like, it's something that, listen, 6 o'clock UK time, everybody who's free to watch it, go and watch it, because I'd say it'd be a decent show no matter what. And hopefully we get a good night of wrestling.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Amen to that.
Yeah, that's it, you know. And I love how these last 2 pay-per-views are on reasonable times. Fuck you, America. Fuck you.
All right,
Sorry,
Jamie.
our
Remember, you have to
American
pass.
fans.
Jamie, remember, Jamie, you have to pass passport control next April.
Oh yeah, actually potentially I will. Oh yeah, I did say that like 1 or 2 things about America. I'm sorry about that, officer. But yeah, not only is King and Queen of the Ring happening on Saturday, but on Sunday it's a pay-per-view that nobody's talking about. That when it first got introduced as a pay-per-view, it was one of the most exciting things got to do with the company, and that's AEW's Double or Nothing that's happening in Vegas. And boys, AEW is so bad at the moment. Anybody want to touch on this?
I
I
don't
want you to
think it's
back it crack before I touch on that and see what Tony can.
AEW is not that bad right now.
It's
WWE is
bad,
on
Mark.
a roll. I don't think it's dreadful. I think there's things I dislike about it, but I understand why they're there. I'm I will tune in and watch Double or Nothing just because usually I quite like to try and give myself something to look forward to on a Monday with King of the Ring, Queen
So
and King of the Ring being on Saturday. I'll watch that on Sunday, so I will
I
still watch
don't know
Dynasty.
much about
Double or
the,
Nothing.
the Double or Nothing card. However, I have been following one particular story with this Double or Nothing, and I imagine most wrestling fans have because it's been entertaining as fuck. And that is the main event of Double or Nothing. Everybody's father, Christian Cage, against whose house?
Swerve's
Where's
house.
house? For the AEW title, and I think it's the only thing worth getting up for. Not even watching the whole pay you're just setting an alarm and getting up before they walk to the ring and just watching that match.
And that
Because
sums up AEW for me at the
and
moment.
that it's just, I mean, God help Tony Khan when Christian's contract was up and he jumped ship again because he
It's
wouldn't be
not
a fan
really.
of the Titanic.
It's not, in fairness though, it's not really that interesting. I don't know why everyone's hyped up for this match to be good. Like, Strickland's a good wrestler, don't get me wrong, and Christian's heel turn is being memorable in this AEW run, but it feels to me like what Cody and Ting is now. It's just put on for Swerve to look strong in his run with the AEW belt, because it hasn't had a good run since MJF dropped it. So I hope for the best for Swerve. I think he has been great, but I'm not interested in this at all. The only thing I'm really interested is what Will Ospreay, against Roger Strong, because we've never seen that match before, and it should be interesting to see how it'll go. But I think it's because it's Will Ospreay and he's going to win his first AEW championship. To me, that's the only thing I look forward to. Other than that, I couldn't give a toss about anything else.
Yeah, 120 is enough
Rob?
for me.
Mm.
I think there are
don't
some
just say
interesting
something.
points there, though. There's
Yeah.
some other interesting matches. I think what they're doing with Copeland, with he's kind of been teasing some heelish, odd sort of behaviors. There's something in that which is maybe worth watching. Chris Jericho has been entertainingly unentertaining, if you know what I mean by that. He's been a bit of a joke figure, but at the same time, that makes him, unmissable. Um, Even an Anarchy in the Arena is always good fun to watch, especially having Darby Allin somehow fit to wrestle like he's going to do some crazy shit. So it'll be worth watching. And they always pull out the bag, AEW, and big shows like that. So I think it will be more worth watching than we think. But no, I'm at the moment I'm a bit of a Fed head, so it's where my interests lie mostly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the same because like AEW for me, just if I'm honest, like the only time I've actually really sort of connected with AEW was whenever he had All In at Wembley last year. That was the one time that I've actually really sat and watched properly an AEW show, and that any other time it's been meh for me. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not really much of an AEW fan. And yes, I might have some of the good wrestlers and things like that, but like as the same as yourself, I'm more WWE guy than AEW. But yeah,
And you know what? And here's the thing as well. I'm a wrestling fan. I want AEW to do well. I like. Don't get me wrong. You can hate Tony Khan. You don't have to like him or whatever. But I'm a wrestling fan, so I want good stuff. Like, come on. I mean, I thought in the summer of last year, the whole Adam Cole MGF team that I've brought up so many times was the best thing in the summer. Like, it was really, really good. Like, I mean, they can do stuff, but I think it's so inconsistent with its storylines and outputs and matches. It's like, I mean, the only thing as I said, the building Will Ospreay up really, really well. So I think that's the only thing for me I look at and go, right, Will Ospreay is going to win his fourth AEW, title and stuff, and probably go in as the Intercontinental, champion or whatever it's called, in All In. But that's literally it. Like, I mean, the whole the team Elite versus team AEW is just I don't really care really that much about it. The IWGP champion is in AEW. That just goes to show how much New Japan has fallen down. It's like that champion is in an AEW, pay-per-view. I mean, come on. I know they've got a relationship, but that's the value in that championship. I'm sorry, but yeah, John Moxley's facing to cash that. That should be a decent match, but I don't care. I just don't care. There's nothing to. There's just no build for this, show to me that's interesting.
It is a word of the night, you might say, Jamie. It is a shit show.
Yeah, it literally is a shit show, and here's the thing: I'm not shitting on AEW. I want AEW to do well. It's just they're not doing well. If that makes any sense to anybody, they're just not. So that's why I won't be really that. Like, I will watch the highlights. I will keep up with it and stuff. But I'm not going to sit there in my 4 hours of me time watching it, other than probably Will Ospreay's match. I mean, that's really it.
Makes a change calling things a shit show than calling things tone deaf anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, that's the AEW talk, which is very short and very sweet. That's what you want. But
As-
do you know what? I actually did mention at the start of this episode there's something that it could be another episode entirely. There's something that I caught on, and I've kind of been very eased on with wrestling, but I think a lot of people have taken seriously about it, and it's got to do with the platform TikTok. Now, everyone's on TikTok, right? Like, Tony,
I'm
you're
not
on
on TikTok.
right? You're not on TikTok, Mark. Anyway, so with what I follow on TikTok, well, I follow a lot of the football stuff and a lot of wrestling stuff, and then whatever the algorithm is, right? But I follow a lot of the wrestling algorithm. I know that's such a tongue twister, but one of the things that I've noticed about TikTok in the last couple of days that has really pissed me off, and this is something I wanted to touch on with you, is that people are taking a lot of people's opinions too seriously, and it shouldn't be that way. Like, nobody is entitled to have one, and nobody should have a voice and stuff. And I actually wanted to mention there's a TikToker who has a platform. Her name's Lana Banana, who was a guest on
on the
the
FiveMarks.
FiveMarks podcast. Yeah, so if you want to check that episode, it was really good, and it was a great episode. But I remember she sent out a video and she just talked about, like, she's just getting sick of TikTok and getting sick of. She never named anybody, but just getting sick of people who think that their opinions more entitled to others, and especially hers, because she gets a lot of shit off wrestling fans, and that, oh, they don't know anything about wrestling, even though she's probably more knowledgeable than I'd even be or anybody else who loves professional wrestling. And it just me skin crawls for that shit, because wrestling's about to be coming together and then having a good time. And yeah, we can have a little debate as we've had before, lad, but I'm not gonna think anything differently. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a wrestling fan. I enjoy it. I don't take it that seriously anymore. And when I see people downgrading other people for opinions and everything like that, it just pisses me off. So I don't know. It's just something I wanted to mention anyway. I just wanted to get you that take on what do you think of people downgrading other people for having opinions in wrestling?
So this isn't a new trend. TikTok has just brought it more to life because there's a lot of fans out there that are opinionated little shits who think their opinions are the only opinion and that no one else is entitled to them.
Yeah.
And you just see it everywhere you go. And it just drives you up the wall. Like, you're looking at some people and you're like, mate, I'm 10 years older than you and they're talking absolute shit.
Yeah.
Like,
so what?
don't get
don't
yourself a
take
news
it that
station or
serious.
something. It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. And then it turns into a fight. And then it turns into people just going after people, looking them up, looking their families up, looking their kids up. And it has happened. It has happened. And it's quite creepy how fast people can find people's contacts.
Yeah.
Just to fuck them over and just to threaten them and just to do this, that, or that. They didn't like what they said.
Yeah. Like, it literally shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be all about fighting and thinking they're better than the other person because of what you think, you know. It should be like, we've had this thing with Cody and everything, and that's debating. I don't have animosity towards what you thought about. Like, I can even understand it in a way. I can understand that, oh well, Roman winning would be more beneficial to him, but I just think at the time it's more beneficial to Cody, so I argue that point. But when I see people downgrading other people for wrestling opinions, I just don't get it. Oh, come on,
Yeah.
like, wrestling's all about being fun and being together. Like,
I think one of the things
Exactly,
is that
it brings everyone together. Like,
yeah,
when you find out someone you've known for years like wrestling, they're like, why did you tell me so now? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? It should bring you together. It shouldn't separate you.
no,
yeah, empathy is one thing missing. It's a big sort of trend. That I think people who post on social media and just in general have opinions could perhaps promote a little bit more. Everyone being entitled to opinions on things is what makes us all individuals and all a little bit special. But being able to actually separate your own from another is not a skill. It's a courtesy. And yeah, I think, you know, what is the point in us all agreeing and what is the point of us all disagreeing? The whole point is, as you've done many times, each of you on this podcast, change another person's opinion based on a good logical reason for your own opinion and encourage the debate, encourage the conversation. I was at a gig a couple of weeks ago with friends, and there was a guy there I'd never really met, and having a chat away about our music taste and how, you know, I kind of dropped the clanger as you try not do in public by saying, you know, a lot of my music taste comes from the love of wrestling when I was a kid and things like that. And people aren't always that proud to, you know, talk about their interests and whatever. This guy turned out he knew a lot more than he was alluding to, and it's funny because you can bring people together, not just based on opinion, but based on interest as well. And I think this podcast is a true, you know, beautiful sign of that we connect as a group based on our interest in something. And, you know, if there's more things that promote that sort of shared love of something, whilst
yeah,
also telling each other to shut the fuck up and have a laugh about it, that's a good position to be in. There's no need for toxicity. It's just little marks, little virgins trying to get themselves over. And yeah, there's no room for it. A bit of empathy goes a long way. We all love this sport. We all love whatever it may be our interest areas, but we're all
yeah,
entitled to some opinions, and we're all entitled to listen and
And
understand others.
100%.
and these people target people that they know that they think, not that they know, they think they can get the better of. And the majority of the time, they target the female content creators.
Yeah, like
Because I
Wheezy and
follow,
Lana
I'm
Banana,
just
they're the
going to say
two
that.
that get the
I was
really
going
bad
to say,
stuff.
I follow quite a few content creators because that's how I get me fix of wrestling week in, week out.
Yeah,
Like, and the majority of the ones that get targeted are Wheezy Blonde, Mini Portable, Lana Banana. They're all of the female wrestling fans. And then
yeah,
people think they can just go after them all. That was women just know what you're talking about. Like, make some women have more knowledge of wrestling than you.
Yeah, they do. And I can sit here now and say that. Like, I can be like, Lana Banana is way, way, way more knowledgeable than I ever would. And like, yes, I have been watching wrestling nearly all my life, but I'm not ashamed of it. I don't really be bothered that. Like, I know my knowledge of wrestling. I have my love of wrestling. I have my different side. Everybody has their different sides. But that's the one thing, and I say this all the time, the one thing we have in common is that we love wrestling. No matter what different side of it you like. We all love it for that one thing, and that's the beautiness of professional wrestling. It brings everyone together, no matter what different personality or different sort of wrestler you like. It's the one thing. You know what I mean? It's not like football where you're like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, you could one love team and then hate the other, but that best friend of yours loves that team, and then yeah, you can have animosity, but then at the end of the day, what brings you together is the sport that you love. So that's what it is. I just hate people that hate others for different things, stupid things as well, like, you know. And I remember I heard about. Sorry, what are you gonna say, Mark?
I agree. We should not hate other people for certain interests and loves and things that they appreciate and they like. Excuse me
Yeah.
one moment.
Get it out. I don't care if it's fucking Catholics. Get the fucking short out. That's what you like to see. Be proud of being a Rangers fan.
We should not.
You
We
fucking
should all
Protestants.
learn to love each other and respect each other's opinions on things. That's all I had to say.
Did you hear what I said there, Mark?
Yes, I did. I am Jewish, so no offense taken.
But honestly, yeah, that's just something that has really bothered me. But and listen, I hear Lana Banana say like if she ever really spoke her real thoughts, she'd get cancelled. And I'm saying here, this is an invite to Lana Banana. If she ever wants to come on as a guest, you are more than welcome on Weekly Controversies because we don't give a fuck what to say.
Because if you think we're going to get cancelled, this is the podcast for you, and we'll happily go down with that shit.
And if you're the one to get us cancelled, we're honoured. We are honoured.
We'll just do an Adam Blumpy and start another one and get kicked off of that too.
What a
if I got into Adam Blampier and all that shit, I'd be here for ages. Because I looked up to all them guys.
On that one,
as a kid.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut that one out now, honest to God. But lads, it is been some episode. This I have to say, 20 episodes, 20 weeks. We have gone so far, and we have done. This is only the beginning.
We started off as 2. We started off 20 weeks ago. The new year was 2. We were nervous. We didn't know what we were doing. Now looking at 20 episodes in, it's like a frost. And we've gone from 2 to 4.
Except the intro, in fairness.
And it touches back on what you said. It was wrestling that brought us together. Because you have 2 lads from Dublin, a lad from Belfast, and a lad from Scotland. Some weeks 2 lads from Scotland. He secretly lives in Leeds. Anyway. we chat about wrestling. We chat about.
We want Aaron.
We want Aaron.
And we chat about wrestling. We give our controversial takes, thoughts. And I hope when we come back from our little absentee break, which is what we were getting through the whole episode, but the lads are waiting me to break the news on, there will be no new episode for the next 2 weeks. And when we come back, we will be back at a new time of Monday. Episodes will be dropping Monday at 6 p.m. GMT on Spotify, where our podcasts are found, and on the FiveMarks YouTube wrestling channel. So keep an eye out for that. But when we do come back, we will have a very special episode because I got to sit down with OTT's very own. He's the man that prides himself in telling the truth and never lying. That is TYECLODD, Hi Claude. And that drops, I think, the end of this month when we come back from our 2-week break, if not into the start of the following month. And when we come back, we will be refreshed. We'll be ready to go. We're going to hopefully work right up to that 100th subscriber, our first milestone. And if we get there, we will do a giveaway.
Not only that,
we will do a giveaway.
I'm not taking my money, fans. You can't get my money.
And for anyone that's been to my house, they know when I say I can do a giveaway, I can do a giveaway because I have a treasure trove of wrestling memorabilia. I won't take if we get to 100.
100 followers on
100
Instagram.
followers. 100 followers on
Plenty.
Instagram.
Plenty to
Yes,
look
to
We're
100.
chipping on a giveaway, so
There'll be
And I'll
plenty
do
to
a
look
give,
forward
we'll do a
to
giveaway store.
in the future as well, because obviously this interview you've got coming up following kind of week, we've got a show that I will be in attendance for, and perhaps
yes.
a grilling of the clash at the castle and a review of that. We'll have content that we can go out. Aaron and I will be in attendance, so looking forward to giving the listeners, the viewers, a little insight into
Absolutely.
that. So it'll be amazing.
We'll definitely have something recorded for that to go out as well. If or not, we should be back well before that happens. That's not to the middle of June, so we're taking the 2-week break to recharge the batteries, get stuff laid out, get a foundation of this whole podcast game. And with that being said, I've been Tony. The lads have been Mark, Rob, and Jamie. This is Weekly Controversy. We will see you at a brand new start time in 2 weeks' time, Monday, 6 GMT. Until then, we're over and out.